We just have
which
to
turned
go.
out to be a
we
mistake.
just have to go now. One thing
Absolutely.
we need to let Nigerians know and the federal government is that investigations should be made.
Not just on this, but even on previous ones, as we have seen in the lineup so far.
All right, we're going to break, and when we return, we'll come up with the newspaper review with headlines. Stay with us. Welcome back on the program. It's still Saturday weekend edition of TVC Breakfast. We start with the Daily Trust, and we have the big story on the front page of Daily Trust. They are saying inside military 16 airstrike errors on citizens in 9 years. Over 400 fell victims, pay compensations to recent victims, revisit other cases, ACF there, an expert talking. Children, women among casualties, justice must be served for victims in Kaduna bombing. Sultan Abubakar there talking, and how I joined Kenny Wood, Rishan Kwashi there talking, and Dangote Refinery begins processing of 1 million barrels of crude oil. Very interesting there. And CBN warns of fake Naira notes in circulation. My stepchildren prevents me from enjoying my husband, women tells court. Impact of palliative elusive despite FG's 5 billion Naira to states. And we have the breakdown there of the distribution there. Well, Kemi, over to you.
On Saturday Punch, the biggest story is this report captioned, "Families face bleak Yuletide over rising food prices, fares and others." The report goes on to say that food prices have tripled. Traders expect to further rise and fear low patronage. Many cancel, adjust travel plans for Christmas as transport fares keep rising. And still on the Kaduna bombing, survivors are also still speaking, this time around saying it looked like the end of the world had come. In Ogun State, the last hasn't been heard of the finance director, Mr. Taiwo Oyekomi, who was killed by robbers. Of course, the director at the Ogun government house. His brother is speaking now, saying the deceased and his wife ended a 3-day fast the day he was killed. Now, blighted by deadly superstition, children accused of witchcraft suffer shame, abandoned by families. That's another report you may want to check out. And down there, the story there is also unmissable. Ondo Commissioner writes Deputy Governor Ayedatiwa and says Governor Akeredolu's signature forged. Over to you now.
We now move on to the Guardian newspaper. Yuletide, Nigerians shelve traveling plans over insecurity. Transport fare, page 2 there of the Guardian newspaper. Very interesting. Nigerians are shelving traveling plans. Well, Africa gets 1 trillion naira to support sustainable vaccine manufacturing. Page 3 there of the Guardian newspaper. Bandit killed over 750 Nigerians in 2023. Abducted 45 from schools, report reveals. And 4,000 illegal connections exist in NNPCL's pipeline. That's the pipeline, Kyari tells Senate. Akeredolu's commissioner raises alarm over alleged forgery of governor's signature. On the masthead, we have leading ladies take movie battle to big screen. Oladiwura, Oladipo, every woman should have knowledge of managing money effectively. Very interesting there on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Kemi.
Right. And next is Voice of Liberty. There is a story from Nasarawa State. Gunmen kidnapped 17 students from the Federal University of Lafia. This is in Nasarawa State, yet another worrisome trend. And President Tinubu to launch first quarter national anti-corruption strategy for the year 2024 as Neiti bemoans 16.25 trillion naira loss to oil theft as well as vandalism. Shell plans $5 billion investment in Nigeria. That's also on the Voice of Liberty. And the DHQ statements, that's the Defense Headquarters statement on Kaduna bombing, very careless, must show empathy. This is from Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani. Meanwhile, Sultan vows to get justice for victims of Kaduna bombing. I'm confused whether to go to Senate or remain minister. That's the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, speaking there.
Very interesting.
Indeed. And also there on the Voice of Liberty, Navy arrests vessel with stolen crude, fingers Tompolo security outfit.
We move on now to the Nation newspaper, and the big story here says, cash crunch, CBN raises the alarm over counterfeit banknotes. Very well. And ahead Christmas, withdrawal limits spark public reactions of frustration there. And 3.4 billion debts. Appeal court orders Makinde to pay ex-LG chiefs. Controversy as commissioner alleges forgery of Akeredolu's signature there. Next is Saturday Independent.
Stakeholders fear Port Harcourt Refinery may not be ready for operation in the new year. That's from Saturday Independent. With government promise, political lie. That's according to a community leader. And for Pengasan, still on this issue of the Port Harcourt Refinery operational as from the end of the year into the new year, we're mounting pressure, work ongoing in refinery, says Pengasan. Oil theft, that's the bottom report there, saying oil theft, Navy's accusation against us mischievous and bizarre. That's according to Tantita.
All right, now we move on to the last paper, which is Blueprint Weekend. And the big story here says, sad tales of actors, actresses who died in 2023. I'll be glad to play for Super Falcons if what? Latifat Ganiyu there talking. Beware of fake banknotes in circulation, CBN alerts. Or theft conspiracy allegations by Navy. There, we also have more stories on the front page. Local equity market remains bullish, gains of about 46 billion naira. And on the masthead, we have Tinubu to Shell. We remove encumbrances daily to attract more investment in the country. And Malagi urges media to champion awareness of Citizens Code Charter. That's it on the headlines this morning. You can go out there, get any of the copies and read. Very interesting there. We're coming, let's look at this interesting story. They're talking about fake banknotes in circulation. The CBN is alerting Nigerians on this particular development in the country. I don't know whether you've received anyone.
Interesting. Well, it is, rather concerning. But then, at this time, perhaps you could also argue that it is to be expected. But as we see from many of the papers, including The Nation, the central bank wants Nigerians to be wary of, counterfeit naira notes in circulation and amid reports of currency shortage in the country. The government, that's the CBN, has also insisted that there is no shortage of cash at this time or even before now. And so one wonders, but so far from where I am, I don't think I've had, any issues. But you would recall that, even up until recently, if you hand somebody a 1,000 naira note, especially market women and men, they would naturally, their default setting, so to speak, would see them checking through that 1,000 naira note to be sure that it's genuine. And well, we hope that this will not fester, And if indeed there is, a problem, because we are already in the festive season, and of course
the Yuletide is here, and Nigerians want to spend.
Absolutely, Nigerians want to spend the little that they have.
They have, well, some have more.
Okay, but many
but you recall that there's a court judgment saying that the old and the new naira notes should coexist.
Absolutely.
So I don't know why the panic. Well, when you go to the bank recently, there's this withdrawal limit that is sparking reactions from Nigerians. They will tell you that you cannot get up to 50,000.
That may be the background. That may be the background for this concern that that the CBN is now raising about the possibility about reports of currency shortage in the country. We hope that enough communication will be given to everyone, and we hope we never get to see the cash crunch
again
that we experienced.
It's not a good story to tell, because when it happened, then some Nigerians died.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back from this particular break, we'll be talking about COP28. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.